And the reason they felt they needed to do that, Jesse, is because if they told their audience the truth, that when gas is the most expensive it's been, flights are super expensive, that 5,000 kids decided to spend a weekend in summer traveling across the country to go hear from conservative speakers, maybe the audience of The View would think twice about all of their ideas. That's why they felt so compelled to try to smear our wonderful summit this last week.
Yeah, they have nothing else.
The world watched in real time as Whoopi Goldberg's composure unraveled. Not from heat stroke, but from something far more jarring. Charlie Kirk stepped into the spotlight like it was open mic night at the Logic Lounge, armed with barbed facts and zero mercy. Whoopi started out smug, radiating confidence, until suddenly she looked like she'd just seen a ghost draped in a Turning Point USA hoodie. Then it hit. Charlie didn't make an argument. He dropped a rhetorical bomb. And in the chaos, there was Ben Shapiro in a questionable wig, trying to referee a meltdown that had all the drama of a Real Housewives reunion, only louder, and somehow even pettier.
Charlie Kirk's the founder and CEO of Turning Point USA and the author of the new book, The College Scam. So, Charlie, do you accept The View's apology?
I mean, regardless of whether or not I accept it, the question is, do our students accept it? That's really what's at heart here. They went after our 5,000 students at our event there of high school and college kids. And look, I get attacked all the time. People say false things. I'm a public figure. But when you go after 16 and 17-year-olds that travel from across the country that then have to live for the rest of their life with a shadow over them because someone at ABC says that they might be linked to
Whoopi, the self-crowned queen of daytime drama, presides. From her plush throne, dishing out fiery takes with the flair of a preacher quoting scripture. For years, she's been shielded by a media bubble too insulated to care about criticism. But not today. Today, that bubble popped, and someone was holding the pin. Enter Charlie Kirk, camera ready, confident, and armed with receipts. But this wasn't a standard issue showdown. He wasn't sitting across from her, didn't even set foot in the studio. Instead, he launched a podcast, tossed the match, and let the internet fan the flames. What sparked the blaze? Just another smug soundbite wrapped in claps and knowing nods until Charlie quietly stripped it bare. Not with volume, but with precision. A sniper, not a screamer. And in that moment, the stage lights didn't just dim, they exposed everything.
You know, in Monday's conversation about Turning Point USA, I put the young people at the conference in the same category as the protesters outside. And I don't like it when people make assumptions about me, and it's not any better when I make assumptions about other people, which I did. So, my bad. I'm sorry. Okay. So, the state,
Charlie didn't just clap back. He dissected Whoopi's entire argument with the calm precision of someone assembling IKEA furniture, paradoxes and all, even the extra, inexplicable pieces. No shouting, no theatrics, just a cool, deliberate takedown. He knew exactly what he was doing. This wasn't just a rebuttal, it was algorithm bait, served up with perfect timing. And sure enough, the internet pounced. Reels, stitched YouTube shorts, Reddit threads multiplying by the hour. Suddenly, Whoopi's once untouchable soundbites were being unearthed like ancient relics. Only now, they looked less like wisdom and more like outdated curiosities.
What did it take for us to get to the point of an apology? We had to threaten a lawsuit, Jesse. And by the way, we're still entertaining it. We're talking to some of the best lawyers out there that are experts in this. And as you know, these things can be very complicated. There's a lot of facts and circumstances around it. But we're not going to let this go because you should not be able to smear 5,000 high school and college kids and then just be able to...
People who hadn't tuned into The View since Obama's first term suddenly had something to say. Why? Because what they saw wasn't a fortress of insight. It was a teetering tower of takes, built on nothing but confidence and applause. And when Charlie pulled back the curtain, one question echoed louder than the clip itself. Wait, did she just make that up? How did that even get a round of applause? Then came the slow, unmistakable hiss of deflation. No dramatic roast, no shouting match, just a quiet, devastating exposure. The studio that once felt untouchable, protected by rehearsed zingers and choreographed claps, now seemed oddly fragile. The tone had shifted, the air had changed. And everyone, whether they admitted it or not, could feel it, especially her.
Disgusting, gross elitism and her complete out-of-touch nature with respect to the rest of the world. Sunny Hostin goes on The View and decides now would be a great time to dump all over the so-called uneducated.
What we did not have is white women who voted about 52%, right, for Donald Trump. Uneducated white women, is my understanding.
Just because you didn't go to college doesn't mean you're stupid, and it doesn't mean that you don't have wisdom. You can go to college and get a bunch of irrelevant facts about how men can allegedly give birth or whatever they teach. But I said this to our team. I said working people, the muscular class, including working women, they are so in favor of Trump, and they don't want to be called stupid or
Even more striking, it wasn't even about what Charlie said. That was the point. He stayed composed, focused, no theatrics, no shouting, just calm clarity. He didn't need a polished set, a glam squad, or a cheering section. Just a Wi-Fi connection and the nerve to say what everyone else had been thinking. One clean takedown, and the illusion cracked. Suddenly, The View didn't feel so untouchable. The usual anthem of applause and affirmation started to sound strangely hollow. Because when reason steps into a room built on noise, the silence that follows isn't awkward. It's absolute.
We begin with a shocking apology just a short time ago from the ladies of The View to Turning Point USA. A war of words broke out after the conservative group was rallying the next generation of voters at its youth summit in Tampa, Florida this weekend. And the liberal panel just couldn't help themselves. The group sent a scathing cease and desist letter after hosts on The View suggested that Turning Point had embraced neo-Nazis who showed up outside the.
To be clear, Whoopi held her ground. Whether to command the stage or break into tears, she stayed put. But something had changed. The heat faded, the spark dimmed. This wasn't TV drama you could package into a viral shouting match. The unraveling was quiet, almost imperceptible. Her next hot take landed not with applause, but with a heavy, uncomfortable silence. It always starts subtly. A shift in energy, a cautious pause from the producers, takes softened, punchlines that don't quite land. And why? Because Charlie didn't argue. He exposed the argument itself. One precise, reasoned strike cut through the noise like a sniper's bullet, draining the room of oxygen. Then, without fanfare, he turned and walked away.
You let them in and you knew what they were. Right. So you are complicit. I want to make a quick clarification about the neo-Nazi Turning Point event. They were outside protesters. My point was more metaphorical, that you embraced them at your thing, I felt.
Well, fast forward to this morning, the host apologized before quickly cutting to.
This wasn't blue versus red, it was nonsense versus reason. And reason had a solid Wi-Fi connection. For once, the crowd snapped out of it. They realized a 10-second Google search couldn't back up the talking points they'd been clapping for. When was it loudest? In the silence, not just from Whoopi, but from the entire machine. No rebuttals, no slick PR cleanup, just stillness. Because when the receipts are airtight, even the spin cycle stalls. And Charlie? He didn't gloat. He didn't stick around for applause. He just dropped the truth like someone pulling a fire alarm, then quietly slipped out the side door.